Gutterball.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to frame 21 of Gutterball. Hard to believe we're already on 21. Fucking few months in, boys, you know? It's just gonna keep cranking them out. Pretty soon we'll be on 100. It'll be like, where'd the time go? But real quick, we just want to kind of run down what's going on with the podcast. Still cranking out shorts, small videos. TikTok is now there, so Gutterball on TikTok. Watch out for us. And then we got Brandon working on Facebook as well, so you can catch us on Facebook. Catch us on all the platforms. We'll be there. Um, but yeah, we just got some good topics to get into. But how's everyone's week? How's everyone feeling?
Good week. Had the week
Good.
off.
Anything new? Anything pressing? Anything hot?
Hunting season, but nothing crazy. Oh, we'll talk about it later, but I got a new phone finally. So we'll go into that later. I got a Pixel 6a. But that's pretty much
Sick.
it. Nothing crazy. How about you, Haller?
Another thing that we may or may not get into, I don't know. Just God of War. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck yeah.
What about you, Jack?
Same old, same old. Starting like a new therapy program. That I go through. Just to like target some specific like fucking needs I need.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Other than that, not much. Currently looking for a new job. Still my old job, but you know,
It gets
kind of
old.
getting sick of Target. So you heard it here first. Target, I'm leaving. Now I'm gonna leave them high and dry for the fucking holiday season, right before they do their renovations, because they only have
fuck 'em.
3 freezer people, and I'm one of them. So see you later. I'll fill it in. I don't. No
Done.
one wants
See
to
you
work in the
later.
freezer. Not my problem. But other than that, feeling good.
That's good. Glad to
Yeah.
hear it. UFC 281 happening this weekend. Hot
Yeah,
topic.
yeah.
I hate to bust it right out the gate here, but have to jump into it. So
Bust her off.
I'm excited.
So yeah, let me just bring it up here quick, and y'all should too on your screens, just to see the fight roster. But pretty big
Right.
weekend of fights coming up. Like it's your traditional like UFC pay-per-view. It's gonna early prelims at 5, regular prelims start at 7, and then we won't get the main fights till 9. Meaning like we aren't seeing the title fights until probably 11 o'clock midnight. So to just put it out there quick for this weekend on the main card, we got. Main fight, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Heavy sought after fight. Alex has only had 3 fights in the UFC, but they have history. As you know, Adesanya rules that division. No one can really beat him. And they're pretty much putting.
We'll see.
They're putting Alex right there at the top because he's beaten him in decision once in kickboxing and knocked him out in kickboxing. So Alex has 2 wins in kickboxing over Israel. So that would be a good fight. Co-main, Carlos Esparza versus Zhang Weili. Going to be a super good fight. I think Zhang Weili obviously is just going to take that belt back. Unless Carla, because she's a wrestler, unless Carla can out-wrestle Zhang Weili. I don't know. I think
Good pronunciation, by the way.
Thanks.
I don't...
I think it's Zhang Weili. But anyways, I think she's going to bring...
He's got Joe Rogan yelling at him all the time.
I still can't say Pereira right, or Pereira. I just can't say that fucking last name.
I'm bad with all of, a lot of, especially for me at least, a lot of the Spanish or Portuguese-esque type names.
I hate to say this, there are a lot of people from a lot of different cultures that I work with, and some of them have some crazy first names and last names, and I really try to pronounce it the best. Sometimes dude, when I know I'm gonna interact with somebody, I'll look up how to say their name because I don't want to offend them. And honestly, I'm sure a lot of people understand it's not really an offense if you when somebody mispronounces Phi. Sure, it's a little annoying if people keep doing it, but if it's a one-time fry, because that's usually what happens.
I get a fry. I get a fay.
I don't think anything of it, but I feel when I mispronounce someone's name, talking to them, that it's almost
that's
offensive.
how I am with mine too.
And
actually,
it's
now that you say that,
I don't
holler?
try to
I get holler.
Yeah,
holler.
That reminds me.
Holler?
I was at the hospital once, and a doctor mispronounced my name, and I just never corrected them, so they just kept calling me Fry. I was just like, whatever. And until one doctor's like, why you call him Fry? His name's not even Fry. And he's like, you told me your name was Fry. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I got into his mind a little bit. Got him thinking.
You're memeing him.
Yeah, I was busting him.
But anyways, for that women's strawweight co-main belt fight, she's taking that belt back. Lightweight fight. This is going to be the banger of the night, okay? Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. Highly doubt this thing ever. Yeah, dude. They're going to be whipping bombs back and forth. So I'll tell you this right now. I highly doubt any of this goes to the ground, but I will say this. If they stand and strike, I think Dustin's going to out-edge Chandler. And just because we've seen Chandler, like, even against Gaethje, like, at a certain point, he was getting beat on the feet by Gaethje, that he just made it a dogfight and just kind of made it entertainment and was just taking shots, like, not defending himself. I hope Chandler doesn't do that, because they're saying this, now don't quote me, that they're actually not having Alexander Volkanovski fight Islam for that double champ. That instead it's going to be the winner of Poirier-Chandler is going to fight Islam for the lightweight belt. That might happen. Islam Makhachev, he's the new lightweight champion. He just beat Charles Oliveira like 2-3 weeks ago.
He deserves a shot.
See the
dude pretty fast though.
Yeah.
One of those dudes that all look like they're the Bond villain, you know?
Yeah,
got the same style going on.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, anyways, I will say this. I think Poirier will win on the feet, and I don't really care who wins, Poirier or Chandler. I like them both, but I think Chandler should win, because I think out of the two of them, Dustin or Chandler has a better shot at beating Makhachev, I think. Because he's so explosive. And he has, like, he's explosive and he's got the grappling. Maybe. Like, Poirier, he's just got the striking. Don't get me wrong, he can grapple, but he's a defensive grappler. Like,
I think you're right, though. When it comes between Poirier and Chandler, I think Dustin's got it in the bag.
Yeah.
But I guess
if it stays on the feet, if it stays on the feet.
For him, though, as far as the fight after this.
But if the fight after this, if it's going to be Poirier or Chandler's fighting Islam Makhachev, Chandler has a better chance. Slightly, not by much.
Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Anyways, other than that, Frankie Edgar, he's going to be retiring. It's his last fight. In the UFC, he'll be fighting Chris Gutierrez.
He was looking rough in that press conference.
Dude, he's been looking rough his last 6 fights, getting front kicked and knocked out. I feel bad, dude. He's gotten some of the worst. He's been part of some of the worst highlight reel knockouts, like getting flying kneed by Corey Sandhagen and he just falls over, or Cheeto Vera kicking him in the fucking chin. Like
classic,
crushing his face. And then we got our good friend. The first fight on the main card is Dan the Hangman Hooker versus Claudio Puelles. If that goes to the ground, Claudio wins. Claudio, I don't know if you guys know much about this dude. He's literally just been submitting everybody with a knee bar. Like he submitted Clay Guida with a knee bar.
He's only 26.
He's kind of an up and comer, and he hasn't taken a lot of damage. Dan has. And Claudio's like an okay striker, but he seems like more of a grappler. Other than that, though, there's a ton of other fights. One I'll point out on the prelim card, Molly McCann will be fighting. Patty is not on this card, but Molly is. She's fighting Erin Blanchfield, probably the biggest fight of her life in women's flyweight. Because Erin Blanchfield's 9-1. She's like an up and comer.
She's young too, 23, dude.
Yeah, and she knows her shit. But yeah, really looking forward to 281. I'll be watching this card front to back. You guys got any hot predictions on the main card fights?
I don't know a lot about the people, but I'm looking here at the top, Israel and Alex. Looks like he has 24 fights and Alex has 7. Is that right?
Yeah, in pro MMA.
Okay. That's crazy.
That's in pro MMA.
That's pro MMA. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's across UFC, whatever organizations. But here's the deal about Alex, dude. He's like a multiple-time world champion in kickboxing. In kickboxing, dude, because
they both come from kickboxing.
Yeah, Israel Adesanya before this was in kickboxing. Alex was the only guy to ever beat Izzy, and he beat Izzy twice. Once by knockout. And here's the thing: is Israel Adesanya, dude, he's been untouchable. He's pretty much ruled the middleweight division for the last 3-4 years.
This is their first clash in UFC together?
Yeah.
Okay, tight. So it's okay. I can see why it's kind of high stakes here.
If you would have seen the fight that Alex was in before this, Sean Strickland was just knocking dudes out, and he was right at the top next for a title shot. And it's the first round. Sean thinks it's a good idea to stand with a world-class kickboxer. Just gets 1-2 knocked out.
All right, I'll check that out.
Alex just walked through Sean Strickland, so I'm that's scary.
Yeah,
dude, he's pretty scary.
Yeah, I've definitely heard the names before.
Yeah. It's exciting.
It's gonna be. I'm literally only I don't really care. I'm not a huge Izzy fan because he's fucking boring. I like champions that are entertaining. I think the champions that put on 2 to 3 belt defenses that are crazy wild fights for defending it are better than the champions that win by moving around point. Don't get me wrong, it's skill to play at a distance and range and outpointing, but come on.
Mayweathering the
you're supposed to be the main event. You're supposed to fucking put it all on the line. Why don't you do that?
It's supposed to be entertainment.
And the thing is about Izzy,
entertainment aspect, you're right.
I kind of I kind of get it from the fighter's aspect.
I get it too, because
they just want to,
he wants to win. He wants to win, and and he will win that way. Like, he knows it's like the best way that in his method to do it, right?
And yeah, I mean, can't even discredit it either, because fucking works,
But like, the thing that have been pissing a lot of fans off of Izzy lately is like, you always be like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna knock this guy out, blah blah blah, and then he does that whole shit the whole time.
He hasn't been doing it.
And,
he hasn't been
and
highlight reel lately.
He's got a lot of fans that are like, what the fuck, man? Like, don't say that if you're just gonna go out there and fucking point fight and dance around the ring. I don't know. Part of me also thinks the UFC doesn't want Izzy as a champion either, since they're feeding Alex to him nearly immediately.
Do you think that, I don't know, I guess I'm just thinking of this now, but do you think maybe things haven't been the same for him since he lost that fight when he went up that weight class?
Oh, Jan Blachowicz, when he went to go fight, that was when Jan had the light heavyweight belt. Man, that belt has also bounced around a lot too, because Glover Teixeira had it, and now Yuri Prohaska has it. That was a crazy fight.
Oh yeah, yep.
He got it in the last round, like 30 seconds left, choked the old man out. They're running it back. That's happening in a couple months.
Nice.
They're fighting for the second time. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. But
no, it's all good, dude.
Anything else?
There's just so much coming up. I mean, I could just kind of. What happened to Usman? When's Usman getting his chance back?
Nothing's been announced with him. I haven't heard anything about Usman. Covington and Hamzat were like rumored, but nothing's official. There's a lot of like rumored fights right now. I don't know what to believe, because half of them don't end up happening. So I don't really promote them.
It's all up to Daddy Dana.
Yeah, I will say this: Jim Miller, that the old lightweight guy. I think he fights in lightweight. Jim Miller, yeah. Or I think he kind of bounces around, but he's like a vet. He's on like a 3-fight winning streak, and he's like 39 or like 40 something. But he also hasn't taken a lot of damage. But he said he wants to fight until UFC 300, and then he's retiring. Like, he wants to be on UFC 300's card, and then he's retiring. But you can't blame the guy's on a 3-fight win streak. He's been winning. He just beat the Cowboy. Remember the last fight he went against the Cowboy?
It depends how long it is between fights for him too.
Yeah, that too. I think he fights maybe once or twice a year. Fought a couple times last year, but yeah. That's pretty much all I got for your UFC talk. Sorry to bore all the listeners immediately. We'll get into
I was actually thinking about that. Is because for the grow community, like, we should have like consistent topics we're talking about.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, why not make it consistent UFC? Because you know a lot of shit about it, and then I'll learn as we go into it, and then that's for like more engagement too, right there. Is if you talk about UFC all the time, throw in your controversial UFC opinions, people will go argue with you in the comments or whatever. But...
Hell yeah. Well, everybody out there listening, who do you think's gonna win at UFC 281? Put your picks down in the comments below, and we'll tell you you're wrong when you're wrong. I'm just kidding.
Shitting on people right away.
I would just start arguing,
commenting. We're just like, no, fuck you guys.
Fuck you.
We're every comment we just deleted. But anyways, in other news, I'm not sure if you guys heard about this. Yeah, go ahead, Jackson.
Oh, about comments. When I post the shorts, I always make sure allow all comments. There's like an option where you can hold comments for review.
Yeah,
none of that. Throw whatever you want. I allow it, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you got, hot topics, throw it in. YouTube won't check it. I told them not to. They're off their back. They don't look.
In other news, I'm not sure if you guys heard about this, but this week, Alex Jones has actually been ordered by a judge that just this last Thursday that he has to pay an additional $473 million on top of the nearly $1 billion to those families, because it's a separate charge for promoting false conspiracy theories about Sandy Hook, and basically bringing the total judgment in the lawsuit filed from the victims' families to a staggering $1.44 billion he owes those families. It's like literally another $500 million. I'm not even kidding. So basically, Connecticut Judge Barbara Bellis, and this is from the HuffPost article, imposed the punitive damages on the InfoWars host and free speech systems. Jones repeatedly told his millions of followers the massacre that killed 20 first graders and 6 educators was staged by crisis actors. Everybody knows this. But yeah, basically, like... there's like punitive damages, including $150 million for violations of Connecticut's Unfair Trade Practices Act, which bans like deceptive business practices and unfair competition. And then like about $323 million for the plaintiff's attorney fees and costs. So like he's just having to pay everything. All of their lawyers' stuff that they had for this, he's having to pay all of it for the whole thing. So they fucking really gave him the shaft. Now, here's the deal. I've heard sorry, Jackson, I'll let you go in a sec.
Yeah.
I've kind of heard both things. I've heard like, oh, this is just a drop in the bucket for Alex. He's fine. And I've also heard this guy is incredibly bankrupt now. I don't know what to believe.
That's what I was thinking. How the fuck? I don't know, because I'm a normal dude and I'm not like fucking rich, but like I don't know how you could even expect someone to pay that off. But my thought is, isn't it like a thing where like if you don't pay off your debts, it goes on to your next generation?
Yeah.
Like, can that carry over? Like, are those is his kids just gonna be fucked from that? You know, wonder about that. There's no fucking way you can pay that in his lifetime. How much he has left?
Yeah. So who knows? I have no clue how much InfoWars is worth, how much his stuff does. But here's the deal: it's not like InfoWars was like, it's not like his company was banned. He can still make content on his website. So I'm not saying that's a good thing because like that's what he used to stage this shit. But what I'm saying is like, with people like that, you end up doing a federal government payment plan. That's probably what he's going to do. And he's still going to run his business and just keep chugging money off of his business into that. I mean, like, sure, he's going to lose a whole heap of followers from this lawsuit. Sure, he did. Lost a whole ton of followers.
I mean,
there's still too many crazy. Yeah, I think, there's too many. He's just like, he might do something smart. Like, he might have, knowing Alex, though, and like a lot of these business guys, they do like smart shit where like, oh, before all this happened, he put nearly all of his assets in someone's name and his family in a different bank account. That's technically his money, but his brother-in-law is watching after it. And then like, you know what I'm saying? They can't
Swiss
get
bank accounts.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I have a feeling like he's just going to do some swindling shit where he already gave it to somebody else. He's just going to declare bankruptcy and then be like, oh, I can't pay it. And then like, they're just going to get some like as much money as they can. But yeah.
No, he's not going to end up not having to pay for it. He's rich. Rich people find ways of not paying money.
Yeah. You know, and that's like been like the latest thing on my mind was like just taxes, because like I'm in a new tax bracket now, and I found out that I'm gonna have to like pay out the ass for the first time, like in taxes. Like this will be the first year I have to pay in, because like single adult male, that makes, you know, I'm in the next tax bracket and I have no dependents or children or anything like that. So like I'm gonna get fucked. I'm looking at paying like $5-6 grand in total to federal.
Even if you claim like zeros,
I claim
board?
I claim zeros. Yep. I'm fucked.
So fucked.
Well, that's what happens when you start making more money and you get into that upper bracket. That because what's stupid is there's like lines. There's like, if you make a certain amount over a year, you're in the next bracket. So even if you made like 50 cents over that bracket line, you're in that fucking bracket. Fuck you, basically. And like, I haven't had to pay it yet, so I could be over exaggerating. But from what I looked into, I think I'm gonna owe around 3.5 to 5-ish federally, and like between 500 and 1,000, I think, for state, which is like just fucking ridiculous. But that's why I'm gonna start my own side business and have an LLC, because tax write-offs, you know. Like you can write a lot of stuff off for taxes, like when you have a business and you have a separate bank account for that business and separate stuff, because literally, like, you know, for like if I did a computer repair business and I went to someone's house to pick up their device and bring it back and repair it, like I could literally document that mileage and write that off on taxes. That's legal because it's your small. If it, as long as it's a business, like it has like a LLC or it's official, right? Yeah. What do you guys think about that Alex Jones thing? That's pretty crazy. I mean, like, I'm not surprised. Like, fuck him. Like, he did do some fucked up shit. Like
I don't know. Like I said, he'll end up not having to pay at all. He's, at the end of the day, he's gonna die rich still, and his kids are gonna have money when they, you know, I mean, I guess who knows how he is with his money, but
yeah,
he's gonna have money at the end of the day. He's gonna have a nice house. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think that's right, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
I don't agree with you know what? No, I do agree with it. Fuck them, because I don't care about them. But like, it's a lot of fucking money, man. At the end of the day, don't say stupid shit online. Like what I read recently, some stupid quote. It was like, I don't say anything online that I wouldn't want to read in front of a judge. I'm like, it's pretty good a way to look at it. It's like, don't say stupid shit like that. You know, with a huge platform, you have power. You know, don't be a dumbass.
And, you know, you're not wrong, Jack. And it's like that kind of rolls into like one of the future guests I would love to have on this show, but he's just like way bigger than all of us. But you guys heard of Josh Palault, the RuneScape felon? He's been on PKA. I mean, okay, he got out a couple of years ago, but basically he's the guy that went to prison for 5 years for telling somebody to kill themselves in RuneScape, essentially. And like his whole life story, man, like, because I watched him right when he got out of prison. He was just Twitch streaming RuneScape because he wasn't banned from the game. Like he was just ended up getting in a lot of trouble with the FBI, and they ended up basically they made a fucking example out of him, dude. The judge he got was an old guy that knew nothing about online games, and like you can't tell someone to kill themselves, you know, even if it's in an online game, blah blah blah. He was also being a real shithead. He broke his parole a lot because he just wasn't taking it seriously because it was a joke. And then he ended up getting 5 years in a federal fucking prison, I think it was, or maybe it was a state prison. But that just goes to show, though, like, I don't know. I would love to have him on this show because I think he would really click well with all of us, especially like since I played a lot of RuneScape back in the day, and he's just kind of into like he's kind of our generation, just a little older, but he's huge now. Like he's been on PKA, he's been on all these other casts. I think he has a podcast now. So, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely remember when you like brought it up or said he was on PKA and then what he did. Fuck, there's something I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought there, but. Yeah, that's fucking crazy that even is a thing that can happen. Was it in the States?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucked.
It was a 14 or 13-year-old kid that told his mom or something. And the kid,
could be arrested.
to be fair, the whole chat was the kid following him around in RuneScape, calling him like the F slur and all this other stuff.
Well, well, at the end of the day, like, no, it's not cool to tell somebody that.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying,
Also,
like,
were things blown out of proportion?
100%
on his side, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
no, I'm not
also nobody
condoning what he
killed
said at all.
themselves,
But
I
I'm
mean.
also saying, like, holy shit, like, I don't know. I'm just glad I wasn't that judge or on that jury or whatever the
Well,
fuck.
I mean,
Because
he
that's
was,
a mess.
like you said, he was obviously like the scapegoat of all kind of just cyberbullying
Yep.
at the time. You know,
Yeah. Shitty.
Not cool.
it is, but it is what it is. I mean, he learned something, and from what I've seen, like from the stories he's told on PK and stuff, it seems like he
has a lot of
as
good
much as
prison
he
stories.
didn't, yeah, as much as he like didn't like it, it's like it was a learning experience to him. Like,
yeah. Well, he learned a
seems
lot of
almost
stuff in prison
appreciative about it.
Like he can
in
play
a sense that
he can play guitar really well now. Like he
Like, I
literally
don't,
learned
like-
so many songs in there.
Advocate prison, but like I don't know, like I feel like that gives you a certain edge and a little bit more of like, because for what I've like perceived prison as like
Yeah.
a spot where you kind of have to be on your toes at all times. Like feel
in a
like
sense, yeah.
like if I know someone went to prison for something like that versus like murder or some shit, I'd be like, this dude, he got mold a little bit. He's a little harder now, a little wiser. Been on the streets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was the worst boss each of you ever had at any job? And this can be like any type of job you've ever had. Like it could even be an odd job, maybe when you were like 14 or 15 for like a neighbor that you did regularly and got paid for. You know, it doesn't have to be like an official employment. But what are some of the, if you have multiple bosses, you can list them. You don't have to name names, but like you don't even have to name the place. But I don't know why. I don't even have one that comes to mind. I just thought that this question came to my mind. I thought it'd be a good one. Does anybody have one right off the top of their head?
I got one right at the top of my head. So I didn't have a lot of, I've only had like a few bosses, and all of them were pretty good, really good bosses. Except for one who wasn't a complete boss, but was a complete cunt. Her name is, I'm not even gonna say her name, but you know who she is. She worked at the movie theater, blonde hair.
All right.
She was a bitch.
We've said this on the show.
Yeah, I think
we've
we have.
literally said her name.
Yeah. Rachel, fuck you. She used to come up to me and be fucking mean to me so she could suck my dick, dude. She used to come up to me like, she'd go up to me and be like, you got a ride home or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, do your parents even drive? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, get out of here. And then she came up to me, what religion do you practice? Who does that to people?
Dude.
And I'm like, and I
So-
say, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, not a Christian, I see. Swear to God. Actual conversation.
Dude, I was gonna say my story about her. She had a conversation.
Both of you.
So Sapiro's heat lamps. You know what I'm talking about, Jackson. I'm sure you can
Yeah.
envision it.
Mhm.
She's in front of it.
Yeah.
This is when I'm working there. I'm on the opposite side. I hear her straight up tell another employee, this kid being, I don't remember, 17, 18 at the time, like, your religion's wrong. Your opinion's wrong. I can't remember
Can't
what
even bring
religion,
that
and
up
it
at
wasn't.
work either.
It wasn't Judaism. It wasn't something
That's why she got fired.
mainstream. It was something weird he believed in, but
Mhm.
nonetheless,
his business.
She straight up told him, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And but she straight up told him like, "You're wrong," and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like, I
You're
was
not even
blown
supposed to bring that.
away.
Yeah, you're not even supposed to bring that shit up at work.
Well, even if you do it, don't. That's what
Oh,
Christians
so-
are the fucking worst.
so
dude.
I gotta.
I'll go to
Fuck you,
mine here.
Rachel, you're right.
I'll go to mine in a second, but I will say this about her. The moment I met her, like when I worked at the theater, and I heard things about her obviously before I actually ran into
Packing
her
at
there.
the theater.
Mhm.
And yeah, and the thing is I knew what to expect from her before I met her. She liked me at first. I played her like a fiddle. I was like, oh, I was like, because like I would have to usher, and she trained me in how to usher out theaters, and she was talking about Trump, and I'm like, oh yeah, like MAGA, like I was literally just like literally siding with her. Like I said, like, oh, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, but I'm a born again Christian now. And I was like, praise the Lord. And I literally like, but then, because I just didn't want to deal with her shit, because it seemed like more of an issue to have her like on your ass than just to like suck up to her for like 5 seconds a day for her to leave me alone. But then it got to a point, dude, where I couldn't do it anymore. And I snapped at her. And ever since then, she fucking hated me. Like, no, all that time ramped up being buddy with her. Like, not really buddy, but you know what I mean? Like, she didn't sought after me like all the time after shit. But no, eventually I was just like, fuck this, fuck you. Like, no.
The same
Yeah, it's
manager
horrible.
I told on a previous episode that I got written up for telling, "Get the fuck out of my face." Same
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
her.
One last thing
Yeah.
for her. I was ushering theaters at 16 and 17. And I was ushering R-rated movies. And she made the argument that since I wasn't 18, I couldn't usher that movie. But Sean was like, no, if he works here, he can usher an 18-year-old movie. But
Yeah.
I remember walking in. I can't remember what movie it was. It was a movie where like strippers were robbing men and shit like that. Remember that movie where it's controversial because it's like rob men and get them drugged up. But at the end of that movie, there's a stripper scene and their girls are dancing, their tits are out and shit like that. And I walk into the theater with Rachel and Ryan's there too. And she's like, "Oh, I don't know if he could be able to see this." And Ryan's like, "He's good. Don't worry about it." And she's like, "All right." I'm like, "Just like fuck off, you bitch. Like, just let me clean the theater, you
Dude,
know."
I just low-key feel bad for her kids, because when I was cleaning out that theater with her, or one of them, I remember her specifically asking me, so you're 18, or no, I was 17, 18. So you're 17, 18, right? So you just graduated high school. Are you going to go to college? And I'm like, yeah, maybe. Because I didn't really know what she was getting at. I'm like, maybe. And she's like, I wouldn't.
Oh, this is Rachel asking
Yeah,
you
yeah.
this?
She's like, you going to go to college? I'm like, maybe. And she's like, well, I wouldn't. They're all liberal institutions that brainwash children. I'm like, whoa. And then like, I was like, yeah. I just started like kind of like, yeah, like sweeping. Like, yeah. Like, and then she literally told me, because she has like 2 younger kids or something. She told me that her and her husband are specifically not letting their kids go to college when they get older. Like, they're not even going to give them the option, or they have to move out of the house.
Well, it's not their choice.
Yeah, that's
when
what
somebody's 18.
That's what I was
they can
saying.
say, go fuck yourself.
But just know that like growing up with those
That's
kids are going to be brainwashed as fuck, is what's unfortunate, I'm sure.
At some point, it borderline child abuse.
Yeah, but it's like you really wouldn't want your kid to get a better education. Don't get me wrong, a lot of them are like, most colleges and shit are liberal institutions, because that's just what they are.
Yeah,
like I went to Lake
schooling
Spring,
system
but
is garbage.
if you let something like that change your thinking, then there's something wrong with you, not with the system. You gotta have your own opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went into school with an open mind, and yeah, sure, there was some crazy shit I didn't agree with, and there's some crazy shit I did agree with. Like, just kind of, I don't know. But like, I just was like, oh god, I fear for that family. Anyways, I'll go into the worst boss. Now, surprisingly, it's not both your choices. Okay? It's actually a boss I had when I was 15 years old. So like, not an official job, but it was right before I got my first official job. So down the road, I guess it would be my second. So down the road, growing up, my older brother had a friend that lived down the road, and his dad was a construction worker, right? Like cement stuff or whatever. So growing up,
your buddy's dad was
my
cement worker.
My
Brother's
brother, so like my brother's buddy like grew up
Sam.
down the road,
Okay.
and that dude's
Gotcha.
dad was like, and
Sam's.
yeah. So
Okay.
my brother Sam was good friends with that kid. His dad worked in construction. As Sam got older, around 15, 16, Sam's first job was through that guy. Like, that's where Sam literally worked like the first 8 years of his life, was
I think
through
I
that
remember
guy.
him
as a
talking about
construction
that
worker.
when we were at his
Yeah.
place that one time
Yeah.
watching
So-
fights. Yeah.
So before that, now that dude like moved away temporarily out of state for like a year or two, and his mom was living in that house, like the dude's mom, like, you know, like 80-year-old woman. And so that was my first job. I would walk the dog for her like every day. I'd go there and she'd pay me like $10 a day to walk her dog for like a half an hour, 45 minutes. So pretty good gig at 15. And then she leaves, like she has to move out because he comes back from out of state because he doesn't like where he moved. I think it was like Washington State. He puts her in an apartment not far by, but like too far away where I can't walk the dog anymore. So like that, I lost that job. But he was like, oh, like, don't worry, like I got a job for you. He's like, you can wash my work truck once a week. And he's like, I'll pay you like what you got for walking the dog for a whole week, essentially, plus extra. I'm like, okay. So he's got this big like F-350 Super Duty with like the big rack in the back with all the tools. He's a cement mason, so there's dust and shit all on the side, and it gets everywhere. So anyways, so this is what happens. First week, I go over there. It's every Sunday. I go over Sunday. He supplied everything to wash the truck, the hose, whatever. He'd pull it out. Basically, what I had to do is literally take all the tools out of the inside and outside of his truck, clean the fucking thing down, windows, wash the wheels. I'm talking spotless clean, and then put all the tools back where they were. Okay. I did it the first time. I thought I did a really good job. Like I worked hard. He comes out. He's like, oh yeah, it looks super good. He ends up giving me like $150 or something, $200 to wash his truck. I'm like, fuck. Sure. Okay. That's good money. But like, mind you, I was making, you know, about 70-ish a week. And so then like walking the dog. But then anyways, I go back the next week. I wash it. He pays me less. He pays me like 100 and he's like, I'll give you more next time. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I wash it the next time, literally the same way. He points out one little thing on the carpet, take everything back out, redo the whole truck, top to bottom, is what he told me. And then this is where I found out that this dude's a hard ass and why my brother like literally has mental problems because of working for this guy. Okay. So I'm like, all right, I do it. He comes back out. He's like, you didn't do good enough. I'm not going to pay you this week. He's like, you can go home. So after I just washed his truck, top to bottom, tools out, tools back in twice. And you want to know what I did? And this is where like, no offense to my brother, he should have done this because this guy just like literally like verbally abused him for years. Right there, that was the worst boss I had. I was like, you know what? I think you can go fuck yourself. I literally said that to him. I was like 15, 16. He's like, what'd you say? He's like, I'm gonna call your parents. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And I got on my little I got on my little mongoose bike, and I'm like ringing the little bell, and I'm going back up to my parents' house. I'm like, fuck that guy. Like, fuck that. And then like a week later, I got like my first official job at Papa Murphy's anyway. So I was like, fuck, like, no, because I knew it was a fine job. He was just being an asshole, and he just didn't, so I was like, fuck you. So yeah, fuck him.
Give him the bird,
and I'll say his name too. Fuck you, Joe. Piece of shit.
No, don't do that. Don't actually.
Nah, fuck him.
So take that back.
What did you say?
I don't condone any violence.
No, don't do violence against this man. But no, like, that was probably the worst boss the reason why it was such a short time, but I'd say that's the worst boss I ever had, because over time with bosses I've had that are bad, I found out ways to like manipulate them or how to like not make them angry or just like avoid them. But with this guy, it was just like straight out of the chute. Oh, you seem cool. Oh, really? You're a piece of shit. And you're just trying to like, and he's just, that guy's just, he's known to be a hothead. Like, I'm pretty sure he's had a bunch of DUIs, stuff like that. Like he's just an asshole. But that was my worst boss ever.
That was my whole, at least in my mind growing up, was Joe Residlo was a fucking asshole, because I would just hear stories with Sam tell me blah blah blah, this and that, and then I think Sam finally was like, fuck you, and parted ways. Thank God.
Well, here's the deal. They've parted ways multiple times, and they come back to one. He's like, hey, you want to come work for me again? And Sam's like, sure, I guess. And then they get in one big fight like 3 months later, and it's the same thing. He doesn't work for him for a year, comes back, hey, man, I got a job I need help with. Like, and here's the deal. And I'm sure, I don't know if Sam will ever hear this, but I think that dude had a lot of like mental strain on Sam in his late developmental years as a teenager. That guy's a fucking menace. Like, that guy like is not good for anybody to work around. He's verbally abusive.
Doesn't sound like it. Christ.
And I'm sure I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he was physically abusive. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's throwing a foreman around or something. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Just hands on me and you're dead. Just, ooh, yeah. Just kidding. But
disrespect me. Or what'd you say? What was that video you sent?
What?
The Jackson, that video you sent to
I sent them a shit video where I'm like, if I need to defend myself in a situation. I thought that was spicy.
It was funny. It made me-
Most
yeah.
because I like that camera angle was good, where it was just like crooked as fuck. And dude, those are the type of videos that like I want to just start throwing on like maybe like my own channel, even on Gutterball. Just
shitty
don't
quality.
don't yeah, shitty quality of those
Jack,
videos. Like,
Jack,
who is this guy?
Jack, you can even throw those on the Gutterball shorts. I don't care, or
Yeah,
even TikTok. And if you're gonna
my
do
thing-
them though, just at the end, just be like Gutterball Entertainment or Gutterball
Yeah,
Podcast. You know, just
yeah.
like just pimp the show. I don't
Just
care.
do
what's in it.
stupid shit, you know?
Yeah.
Gutterball entertainment.
You're just like Gutterball
Alright.
Entertainment, and you're just putting a whole thing of firecrackers in a microwave, turning it on, and walking away. And it starts
Yeah.
blowing up, and that's the end of the short.
Or
Like, just
dude,
horrible.
what if
That's
what
like
if I do
that's a
some
good
Bam
idea.
Margera shit to his dad and I put firecrackers in a pot? I'm like, this is how I prank my dad, and I light it. Dad wakes up. What the hell? He's so
dude,
mad.
I would laugh so hard. You should literally see, or you should literally just do that. Piss dad off. Like he's sleeping on the couch downstairs. You should walk
You'd
down
be
there
so
with like a
fucking
pot and just light the firecrackers and set it right next to the arm of the chair. He's
You'd
like, "Oh fuck!" He wakes
he-
up.
He'd be mad. He'd be mad for like all of like 20 minutes. Then he'd be like, ah, whatever. He
Yeah,
really would.
yeah.
He
You would
really
just you would
be.
just need to leave the scene of the crime for about an
Yeah.
hour, come back, and he'd be like, "What?" You know, like he wouldn't give a
Maybe I
shit.
filmed it. It's like, what do you, dude? Bam, though, I wouldn't do what Bam did to his dad. 'Cause if you
No.
haven't seen, ladies and gentlemen, look up Bam Margera versus his dad. Like he,
He does some
assaults
horrible
him,
things.
beats him up. Like he beats him on the toilet. He just starts punching him, like using the can. Like who does that? Who does that, man? Oh, the greatest one though is when they put an alligator in their fucking living room, like a full-blown alligator, and his mom was freaking out. Like, what do we do?
Classic. Yeah, I think it was Jackass 1, I think.
Oh yeah, that's Jackass.
Classic
Yeah.
movie.
yeah.
Fucking good. But speaking of classic movies, I just watched Christmas Vacation.
Ooh, it is a classic.
Again, you know, it just popped up
Griswolds.
on my feed. I was like, I'll check that out. Man, it had me bust a little bit throughout the movie.
Oh,
I'd
it's a
bust in a
good
little. I can't
movie,
lie.
dude.
Chevy's classic.
There's some about those movies that are like they have like their weird own like fucking like you can put them in their own subgenre.
Yeah,
I don't know
they're
how to
very
like
weird.
holiday,
I
like feel
what
good
you mean.
family movies, but there's so much more. Like there's fucking great though.
I really like
Um,
Vegas Vacation.
Vegas is good.
I do too.
Yeah.
Wayne.
Which
Newton.
one predates the other? I can't remember. Which is
Christmas
first?
is the
I think was the first
and
one they
then
made.
Vegas.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then they made like a bunch from like European Vacation and fucking.
Well, those ones were.
I don't think I
that was
saw it.
actually the first one.
Yeah.
It was
Mm.
National Lampoon's Vacation. I think
Yeah.
was the first one, and then European.
And they go
and
to
then
Wally
Christmas.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Holiday Road.
class. Those are good though.
Holiday
I
Road.
like
fuck
Chris.
that song.
What is it? Chris. I think it's in the Christmas one. His cousin Eddie says something about like, yeah, I need got a plate in my head. Anytime
Oh,
someone
yeah.
uses the microwave, I
Oh,
hit
yeah.
myself and forget who I am for a little bit.
Dude, I busted out that the other day. How I pissed my pants and you know, I am.
yeah, it's so good.
That's horrible. Yeah, those
Oh,
movies
no,
are fucking classic.
They are.
Actually,
They're
I have cousin Eddie and Mr. Griswold from that movie in particular. Those two pop figures.
No, that's
actually.
cool.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
I know that. Those. That's funny.
I like
That's
cousin Eddie in Vegas Vacation when he fucking like just like throws a steak and cracks an egg on like a rock outside their trailer. It's like the fucking
Yeah.
Las
It's
Vegas
hot as
heat's
fuck.
cooking it. Yeah.
Ah, classic. Damn.
Good.
Those are
Fucking
good
good
ones. I
movies.
forgot about those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's God of War, Howler? What's this one called? Is it just God of War?
God of
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. It's
So
good.
it's like a Thor
It's
movie.
good.
Thor is in it.
Thor is in it. It's
How is Marvel
it's
not
so good.
suing him? No, I'm just kidding.
Ragnarok's like that's been a wasn't that like a biblical thing? Like
What?
sure it was predates way back.
Thor?
No, Thor, yeah, Thor does, but like Ragnarok, like the idea that was like that's like Greece mythology, whatever the fuck it is,
I
Greek.
couldn't tell you. Yeah, probably. Oh, I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah. So is it
ugh.
good? Like, what's the gameplay like?
Okay, so I'm not gonna. The game just fucking came out, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil. But gameplay wise, Jack, you said you played it, right? The 2018 one.
Oh yeah, great game.
Gameplay, exactly the same. I'm okay with that.
What I said.
It's totally fine. There, without spoilers, there are things like that little new things they've added here and there that are nice, you know, but generally the same. Beautifully done. Story so far,
Pretty good.
great so far.
Nice.
Okay, Jack, Just
Yeah.
I will say, did you see the trailer for Ragnarok,
I
the
didn't.
game?
I
Okay,
don't think
well,
so. Maybe I don't know. I saw the wolf. I thought the wolf was cool. I heard the intro scene was like really sick, and I didn't watch it, but like I saw like 4 posts on YouTube. I was scrolling through God of War intros, sick as fuck. This is
it
awesome,
is.
and shit like that.
I'm not. I don't want to give any details. I know I keep saying that, but
Mhm.
I will say that like if you watch like the official trailer to the game, a good portion of that trailer is in like the first half hour of the game, which is
Okay.
cool. That's
Yeah.
like
Good.
that made me happy. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, cool. Like this game's gonna end up being nothing like I expected. And yeah, like story wise, it's going in ways that I didn't expect, and it's great. Score is
What
great.
one question I got for you? So like when I play like I played the last one. Let's say I maxed out my character. Kratos is fucking got all his abilities. When it carries over the next one, does Kratos just go back to zero, or is it new abilities, like new shit
Back
that they add?
back to zero. Well,
Oh, it get new shit.
okay, so like the stuff like do you remember the chisel you get
Hmm.
to open up those seals? You get
Yeah.
that right away. It's not
Okay.
really relevant in the story so far though. But
Right.
like stuff like that, like you still have like the blades of chaos you kind of get right away at the beginning of the game. So
Mm.
like stuff like that. But armor, like the dope ass armor and shit, that's set back to like, yeah, you're
Oh
back
yeah,
to
yeah.
being a piece of shit.
Okay.
But the
All
way
right.
they kind of go about, cause did you play the original trilogy at all? Or the
I played them here and there, but not really. Paul, you play any of them?
I've never touched God of War game.
every intro except for this like fourth, the reboot that they did, like in the original trilogy, they always at the beginning of the game had a way to like kind of reset like your badassery, like so you're not like overpowered. And
Yeah,
then like the way they do it in this one's kind of cool. So
that's cool.
that's kind of a
Hey,
So overall, out of
but
10, what would you give the game
so
so far?
far.
it's hard to say. I think it's at 7. I'm at 7 hours into it. I'd at right now I'd give it a 10 out of 10. Like it's
Cool.
actually
Better in Modern Warfare 2?
yeah, fuck. Modern Warfare 2's pissed me off. I thought it was a hot little piece at first, but I actually
Allard,
haven't
welcome,
touched it. It's
welcome
pissed
to
me off.
Welcome to our world.
welcome to like every COD for me since everyone after
No,
MW3.
and that's
Like
the
I just
thing is
can't. Like I
I
play it for
haven't
60 hours and then I never touch it again, and so I don't spend $60 on it. You know,
You
for
got
this
70.
zombies? I'm in. That's all
Yeah,
I'm care about.
yeah, but I never this was the most I played since the last Modern Warfare, and it's good. It's just the maps are shit
shit. And I hear like
and
the way to unlock things is pretty crazy. Like you gotta like, oh, to get this attachment for this gun, you need to get this gun to a certain level, or this gun needs,
yeah,
like
Mhm.
I've heard
that
that.
is but the
I think
way
it's cool.
that
There's no
I like
prestige.
the way that the new progression system. I personally like that new progression system.
I think
I
it's
get
cool.
why somebody would hate it,
Never played
but
it, but
there's
it looks
so
cool.
many attachments and shit. So
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, yeah, like okay, if you want the specific laser sight or whatever, you got to work this gun up, but like
Yeah.
there's also actually like 20 other lasers that you could unlock a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But
You know what I saw
I
was
think
kind
it's
of
cool.
funny? So COD, if you guys ever to listeners too, if you ever play COD multiplayer, you know that you can get like fucking like platinum like gun skins, and that's when you
Yep.
max all the gun class out. They were trying to hide that apparently for Modern Warfare 2, and like some 12-year-old kid like got it, and they weren't expecting anyone to get it that soon. So like they revealed it, and it was like a big thing. And I'm like, you know, if it's anybody, it'd be that kid that's getting it. You know, what does he got to do?
Yeah.
School? Oh,
Hey
you
man,
know,
I used to be good at video games and then I grew up. Like that's like the
yeah.
staple thing. Like it's all it
Mhm.
is time,
Yeah.
man. When you're a
Yeah,
kid and
but
you have time.
I think you I think we stay good at video games. It's just it's less games we're good at because we're more selective about like what we
Yeah,
put
that
our
and it's
attention
Yeah.
yeah,
to.
that's fair cuz like we just don't have the time to dedicate into one game anymore.
Yeah.
Like we want to
It's
experience a lot of these
it's
different
fun
games.
though. Like, don't get me like wrong. Like, I like to go throw on a game and play a couple hours here and there. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Everything in moderation. You know.
For sure. Yeah.
100%. Um
But yeah, my
cool.
attention span, man. Fucking, I'm like a goldfish. Games go right through me, man. I need something flashing on a screen at all
And
times.
that's why I like this God of War so much is like it's like even during the cutscenes, like normally like I when I'm watching or playing something, like I'm expressionless, I'm absorbing it, but like this game actually has me like laughing or like I catch myself like smiling. Like it's a great game. The story, the writing's awesome. It's good. It's
Right.
funny. It's Kratos is funny and is fucking he all he does is, fucking but he does it in a good way.
Yeah, that's good. What was I gonna say? Oh, I got a new phone. I'll go into this really quick. So, for those of you listening out there, my name is Paul Fye, and I don't typically buy new phones. I'm the type of guy that, I don't like to spend $1,000 on a new phone. I don't get the latest and greatest. I'm like the type of guy that'll go on eBay and buy like a refurbished phone that's like 2 to 3 years, like a gen or two old, right? And then just go with that. Now, I was a Samsung guy. I was never really an iPhone guy. I had a couple products. Wasn't a fan. And then I got into Google Pixels because I found that like when the Google Pixel 2 or 3 just came out, you could get a Google Pixel 1 on eBay refurbished for $100. And it still got updates at the time. So I was like, okay, I'll jump on this. And ever since that, I jumped to a 3XL refurbished 2-3 years later when the Pixel 1 died or was like not supported anymore. And as you guys know, the 3XL was no longer getting security updates as of like this last year, and I've just been meaning to switch. I ended up getting the Pixel 6a, okay? Brand new, because from Google, it was $300 on sale, down from like $500 or $550. So super good deal. I've had it for 2-3 days now. I'll say this: best budget phone of 2022 compared to what I could find, and for the specs, it's just like the screen's just a little smaller than my 3XL, and it's fast. Like there's literally like camera, I can't tell a difference. I also don't care. Like cameras have never really mattered that much to me, and if I cared about cameras, I'd buy an iPhone because they have the best one.
Yeah.
But I will say hardware, like as far as the step up in RAM and processing power and like the little bit more storage space, definitely worth it. $300. So like if you're gonna buy a new phone, I heard that this is gonna go down again to 300 because the sale just stopped. But on Black Friday, it's gonna be 300 again, brand new. Highly recommend.
Scale of 1 to 10, give it to me.
So far an 8.5, just because like the reason why I say I'm pretty hard,
phone.
like I'm pretty hard at grading phones. Like I'd even rate my Pixel 3 XL a 7.5 or an 8. Like, because I know I'm not getting the best of the best. Now, don't get me wrong. If I got the 7 Pro that just came out, which I've heard has had some problems, but say it was like an awesome phone, that phone would maybe get a 9 or a 10, depending on how good it is, because it is like flagship top line, but it's also like $1,200 or $1,000.
I saw it is getting good, really.
Yeah,
priced. It is getting good reviews. I did.
From what I hear, it's just like how Google has been since they've started making phones. Their software is super good, but the hardware is really bad. Now this phone's great, but I've seen a Pixel 7 teardown review, the Pro, and if you bend the phone, it literally cracks at the camera bump. Like it starts to snap, like it bends. Like the guy just went like this, and it just starts to crack. And so like
it's like a graham cracker.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, no one's gonna do that, but like you almost want to have it in a case, like you should with that nice of a phone, anyways. But like,
it sucks.
Yeah,
like phones look so sleek now, but like they're in a case.
Yeah, like this is I got it in sage green, but like obviously this is just a green case, and then I have like
pull that puppy out. It's pretty clean looking.
You want to see it?
Yeah, that sage green.
But yeah, all in all, like pretty good phone. I for the first time, usually when I get a new phone, I'll do a full, like I'll back up my old phone, do a full wipe of it, and then just like put the stuff I want on the new phone. It takes forever because you're signing back into all your apps. This time I did the USB-C to USB-C Google transfer. It took like 15 minutes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's kind of hard to tell, but because my camera doesn't pick it up well. But this is a sage, like a light green, and this is even a lighter green at the top.
That's what I got.
To your color.
Same color, sage.
Oh, which Pixel is that? Is it the 5?
This is a 5, yeah. Sage. I got a cool S sticker there.
Yeah, and this is like the first phone I've gotten in a while where it isn't an XL version. Because even when I was on Samsung phones, I was buying those Note phones, the big ones with the stylus. And then with the Pixel, I was getting the XLs, but I don't need an X. Like this, the fucking screen size on normal phones are nearly the same size as like what was considered extra large 5 years ago.
I got the sick dope blue 12 Pro.
Hell yeah. That's sick.
Max, whatever.
See,
I was super pumped when they went away from the
bland,
silver, black, and then gold is usually what it was. Or rose gold. Yeah.
Give me a little color. Well, what I do like is like Google will do like every phone they release, like so like the 7 release is different from the 7 Pro release technically. So like they'll always have it in a white and black, and then they have one special color. So like with mine, it was the sage green. I think with the 7 Pro, you can get it in like it's a weird color. It's like a light green with like a rose gold trim or something. It's odd. Or hazel. I think it's called hazel.
That sounds nice.
It does look cool.
Sounds aesthetically pleasing.
It is. But yeah, so like they always I like it when phones do like cool colors like that. Like, you know, I was talking to Haller about this the other day. Like when they came out with that iPhone 5C back in the day, remember they had like banana yellow, like super vibrant red, and like bright blue. Those phones were shit because I didn't ever had one, but I remember my buddies getting them. Never lasted. They had the plastic body and they were just junk.
My grandparents at the time they had got them, and then they were hot trash.
Yeah.
I mean, they were marketed as the cheap
kind of like
iPhone
what
at the time.
Kind of like what this is. Like this is like the budget, the 6A. Like it's the budget.
Yeah, but I'm sure that functions though.
Oh,
There's no
it's
reason
good.
to release a product like
Yeah.
that and it not function at like a normal, like par level, so to speak.
I mean, the reason why I went from Samsung to Google is because Google, I think, as far as flagship manufacturers out there right now for Androids, are the ones.
They're both Android, right? Okay. I was going to ask. They're both Android.
Google updates their old phones for the longest. So like a Samsung will become
the longest life.
Well, yeah, like an Apple. I think Apple is like the quickest. Like they become obsolete within like 3 to 5.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's even like 3 years at the earliest. Whereas like Samsung, it's like, you know, they give you longer, but Google's the longest. Like this is literally have support, I think, until like, I don't even know, 2025, maybe 2026, which if you think about it, and the phone came out like last year, that's pretty good. Like that's a 5-6 year span of like coverage for security updates, as long as you keep the thing in good shape, you know? But yeah, enough of phones.
What's the thing is they're supposed to last you so long, but like everybody's like, so many people are upgrade once a year.
I
I
know people that have a constant phone payment that just get the latest iPhone every time trade theirs in. It's like I have no desire for that.
I don't even do anything on my phone. Like, what the fuck do I need a new phone every year?
I don't anymore.
Bonkers, dude.
Yeah, like
bonkers.
Like I don't have games on my phone. I don't have a single game installed. Nope. Like I don't do any of that shit.
What am I, 8? What am I gonna play? Flappy Bird? Dude, they didn't even have any of the good. If they like brought back
Doodle
the
Jump?
old school, yeah, like the old school, like you could download the old school
Cookie
like
Clicker?
Play Store.
Do Zombieville USA?
Yeah,
that's that game. Oh, hot little no.
What was the other one that got banned? Or fucking Angry Birds. You can't find the original Angry Birds like fucking
really
anywhere. Not on phone, dude. I'm pretty sure like they like revamped it.
Tiny Wings
was it like Angry Birds?
Tiny Wings got banned, didn't it? Remember Tiny Wings?
I don't remember that.
I'm not sure.
I think that's what that one called. I don't know.
In other news, TSA has not released the person or any arrests, but they found someone's luggage and searched it, found a raw chicken in there, and stuffed inside the raw chicken was a handgun in a plastic bag. Not even kidding. Like that happened. Like TSA somewhere.
Where?
Let's see. It was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Of course, it's fucking South Florida. They reported finding a handgun hidden inside a raw chicken packed in a traveler's luggage. The Transportation Security Administration posted photos of the gun and poultry Monday on its official Instagram account and said there's a personal foul here. Ha ha, TSA. But no, I just thought it was interesting that we're literally like people are smuggling handguns and raw chickens, and like first thing you should know is I'm pretty sure you can't bring a fucking raw chicken on a plane. Okay, like I'm pretty sure there's a rule against that.
Well, fuck TSA. First, I'm reading the Instagram post they made, and first of all, they start with the plot chickens as we barrel away to closer to Thanksgiving, and then they go into the idea wasn't even half baked. It was raw, greasy, and obviously unsupervised. They're like, oh, funny, guy brings a gun. What's Weezy gonna do with it? I don't know. But funny chicken puns. Look at our chicken puns. They're funny.
And like according to the TSA, fresh meat, seafood, and other non-liquid food items are permitted in both carry-on and checked bags, but they need to be packed in ice. An unloaded firearm is allowed to be transported in checked bags, but they must be declared at the ticket counter and packed inside of a locked hard-side container. So it could even be that this guy followed all the rules and they're just like making a post out of this for publicity.
I didn't know there's
guns
rules.
It has to be unloaded.
Transport one.
You can transport a firearm, just has to be in a checked bag. It has to be unloaded.
Like a federal agent or some shit.
Yeah. Like if you're like I've always wondered that. Like, I've only been on a plane once, but I like looked around. I'm like, which one's the U.S. Marshal if there is one? I think it's like
Yeah,
one out of
the
every
whole
like
situation is
100
fucking
flights there is
What
one.
it is
high
now, a
anxiety
lot
for
of
me.
them, the flight marshals are like women and shit because they look young and they're like, oh, it's not a woman that's here, marshal. But
Yeah,
they don't throw on every flight. No
No.
fucking way.
nope. There's I don't think
Who knows?
the
They might.
government has a
I
budget
would-
for that. I would be.
I'd
I
be an
would
air
feel.
marshal.
I would feel safer knowing there is one on the flight with me. I'm just gonna say that.
You know how many people
Yeah.
would be like, wasted my fucking tax money.
I mean, they're
You
not
sick
wrong either.
bastards.
How often do those things happen?
Yeah.
Right.
But
All
when
it
they
takes
do
is
happen,
one.
it's usually catastrophic.
Pretty bad, yeah.
Exactly.
It's pretty bad.
Somebody
when
gets
it
a hold of a
does.
plane, it's or a
Yeah.
hostage. It's bad.
Oh yeah.
It's so scary
Yeah, it
to
is.
think about.
That's why, like, I don't know, like, fuck. My next trip, I'm fucking driving. Like, I don't think I'm gonna take a plane. I'd rather just road trip it. Who cares about
I'm
the fucking
so
gas
over
prices?
driving now, dude.
I don't mind it.
I hate it.
Me too. I hate driving. That's the one thing I can't wait. If I do ever make it rich, I ain't driving.
You're
I'm
gonna
not driving at all.
You're gonna have a chauffeur.
I'm never
Dude,
driving. Fuck
That
that.
last trip I had where I drove from here to Oklahoma and then to LA and then all the way back. I'm over it. I'm
Yeah,
done.
It's
No
fair.
more.
Destiny and I are thinking about driving down to Arkansas this spring, see her grandparents.
That'd be cool.
Damn.
But I
Great
think
grandma lives down there.
it's gonna be mainly like see her grandparents for like 2 days, and then for like the rest of the next week or two, we're gonna drive to Nashville and just stay in Nashville, Tennessee, because I think that'd be a cool
Actually see
spot.
something cool.
Well, there's like I heard the barbecue's phenomenal in Nashville. That's what I plan on doing. Fucking nothing but barbecue, Monday
I
through
love
Friday.
American
There,
food. Just
so good.
American food in general. Christ.
Barbecue sauce is so bad for you, dude. I ate 2 McRibs the other day, and my stomach was bloated. It was so bad. It was
Too much
so-
onions.
Dude, it was just too much barbecue sauce. Like all the vinegar and that shit. They like slather that fucking McRib in barbecue sauce. And yes, I'm gross. I like the McRib. I heard they're not bringing it back. I know it's probably a marketing ploy. I went and bought 2 and I ate them.
What do you mean?
They're not
Not
bringing
bringing it back.
Apparently, this is this is it. McRib is done this year.
No,
Highly
that's
doubt.
what they say.
They say it all the
Bullshit.
time. It's a marketing ploy to get people to go buy it.
is.
But
Yeah.
they got me. I went and ate 2 McRibs. It was
I didn't
great.
know it's
Did not
back.
like it
I might have
afterwards.
to go get one.
Somebody said
Sounds good.
fucking Wendy's has like their version of that. That's not bad.
Really?
I think it was
I
Wendy's.
love
Yeah.
Wendy's. I haven't heard of that, but that sounds
Dude,
fine.
When-
I actually
Wendy's,
saw recently, dude, the prices at Wendy's have like gone up. Like a Baconator, dude. I just saw a stupid post. Baconator, dude, like combo is like fucking $16 now. It's crazy.
Aye.
Because the price of bacon too is
yeah.
fucking insane.
So for me, Wendy's is good, but with Wendy's, it's like if I'm gonna go there, I plan it out because I always immediately get sick afterwards. Every time. Like I'm always immediately sick. Stomach ache, stomach cramps. Like doesn't matter what I get, I'm fucked up. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have Wendy's today? Maybe not. I got a meeting in a couple hours. Maybe I don't do that. Maybe I just have something else for lunch if I'm gonna go out to eat.
That's so funny.
It's Wendy's fucks me up, man. I don't know what to tell you.
What you doing there, Wendy?
What are you
What
doing
you
there?
doing?
What you doing there,
She
you
give
old
you-
skank?
What's that?
She give you a
Always fresh
Wendy,
pepper frozen
Wendy?
patty.
Jackson,
Yeah.
why do you hate certain communities?
Oh, why do I hate certain communities?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
What kind of communities we're talking about?
We're talking about the LGBTQ community. Getting into the hot right here. Getting into the hot thick of it.
Aren't you part
Um,
of that technically, though?
No, I'm not. Because I'm not. I just say I'm not. I am not the G in there. I'm not the G. I don't want to be part of it. Here's my problem with it. And honestly, it's embarrassing to be in that community now. It's fucking downright shameful what's going on with it. It should be embarrassed. Back then, when gay movement was happening, was just to be accepted in society, and just we want to have gay marriage, we want to be normal, and
Yeah.
we got that. We got that. We're good, guys. So stop it. We're good. We don't need anything else. Stop right there. Stop with the pronouns. Stop with the teaching kids in school. Fucking, the privilege like bullshit. Fucking knock it off because I don't want to see it. The problem with the LGBTQ community is
He doesn't want to see it.
you're adopting you're adopting an ideology which is now has become an ideology. It's more political driven than ever before. They're adopting an ideology that has no rules, such as transgenders and pronouns and stuff, There is no rules. It's so open. Like, how do you say someone's a man, a woman? You know, that kind of shit with pronouns. You could say whatever you want. It's it's like it's a dangerous, slippery slope. And just like Jordan Peterson called it out, like right away, like as soon as it just starts with that little thing where they say you can't say this pronoun, you know, and then it just gets snowballs into a bigger effect, you know, until it
Yep.
blows up in front of you, and it's terrible. But I don't I just don't I really just don't like the indoctrination of it to our kids in school, because they're teaching a lot of that, and it's not even like people say it's like Republican propaganda and shit, but it's really not, and it really is what they're teaching kids. Like, hey, if you don't feel like you're this gender, you can adopt whatever you want. You don't have to be that, and we'll call you this certain pronoun, and everyone has to accept it. Everyone has to
Yeah.
go with what you say. Um, and it's downright fucking embarrassing, man. And the problem with me, especially for being gay and largely lean and conservative views, which I don't even let ideology become a part of my personality, but like every single one of them is all caught up in that. So it's like I guess like dating people is fucking hard because like I have these crazy views, you know. Maybe you shouldn't be able to call yourself whatever you want. And you know, and then I'm the asshole, and then I'm the fucking asshole. But
You can't
really,
win.
I would love to like legit like fucking back up some of these like Republican, not even just Republic, but these like people that are like straight and saying this shit that I'm saying, and be there as a gay man that can say, "Hey, I'm with you," you know, because my opinion in that terms matters more, I guess, you know, just like you wouldn't like say a white person talks about Black Lives Matter versus an actual black person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like if I could use that in some way to good to influence this and kind of stop like the slow ball. Like, I don't know what more they want from us, the LGBT community. What do you want from people? Like, we
Yeah.
got gay marriage, we're accepted in society, like you can't
Yeah.
discriminate. What else do you
They're gonna
want, you
say
know?
they're not accepted though.
Yeah, yeah, it's too open. You're totally right. Like, there's too many things sliding into it too. Like, people trying to say furries are part of that community, and like, I'm just like,
Pedophile attracted or like
yeah,
children attracted people, fuck those
yeah,
people.
and like, yeah, and like, they're just looping a lot of shit into it, and it's like, where's the line?
Well,
Like, where's the line drawn? It just seems like
that's
really up
why
in the air.
that's why I don't like to be identified with that, because when you say that, it's like, oh, LGBT community. Oh, you mean trans rights, pronouns, stupid genders. By the way, they're stupid. And I'm not like one of those people that are like, oh, there's only two genders. Like, I biology, there's two genders, right? But like, if it really comes down to it, and you want me to say that certain pronoun, and I know you well enough, whatever, I don't give a fuck. But like, as soon as you start imposing it on people you don't
That's
know,
fair.
and then even so go far as like to say like, oh, I'm gonna give you a fine for saying this, but it's not so that they're saying what you can't say, it's that they're literally telling you what you should say. And that's where it really pisses me off, because this is how it started in Nazi Germany, motherfuckers. It just takes little steps, man, until they just take away everything. It's not cool, so knock it
Yeah.
off right now.
All right. Yeah. I agree with most of what you said. Like, it's again fine line. Like, what's allowed, what isn't.
It's
Who's
really
saying they're
hard
part of
for
it.
Paul and I to comment
I
because we're not
I am a straight
gay
white
or
male.
anything. You
I
know,
am like
yeah.
I am the staple of people that are considered to hate this community for some reason.
Mhm.
Like, you hear it all the time. Like, oh, like, it's always the straight white male that's like crushing LGBTQ communities, and like the rich white male, or like the hard, like the businessman, the corporate man, whatever.
That's just
But
generalizing
yeah,
too.
and that's what it
That's
is
all
though. It's always
generalizing isn't
generalized. But yeah,
generalizing is
again,
bad for
it is.
everything.
And I can't say so. Like, yeah, Haller and I don't have like too much of an opinion on it, but I will say I do kind of
Well,
see where
we
you're
have our
coming from.
opinions. It's just hard to
Yeah, well, no, it's hard to
say our
yeah,
opinion
like
without offending somebody.
Yeah, that's the
it's like
problem.
if I was back 20 years ago, I'd be proud of the gay movement because we're like trying to just be accepted. But now I'm just like,
Kind of
what's
like,
going
I mean,
on?
I hate
You
to,
know?
or not to like, I guess it is comparing it, but like kind of like with the feminism thing, like,
Yeah,
a lot of them would say like, yeah, like their cause
yeah,
back then was more noble, and like
yeah,
they'd be
Hmm.
cool with saying like, yeah, they were feminist back then,
yeah,
but like now it's just been twisted to this.
Like, what is it? What does
yeah.
that mean? You know?
And
Yeah.
I totally don't agree with, like, I think you brought this up, Jack. Like, getting kids taught in school, like super young, like when they're like fucking in first grade or something about that stuff. The way you tell me, dude, is a kid is supposed to be a kid. I don't care what they think that early. They shouldn't even be developing those thoughts that early. It should just be traditional, like what we went through, which is like in 4th or 5th grade, you watch the movie about puberty and you learn about both sexes and what both sexes go through in puberty. And then, like, I think in health class in middle school, at least in our district, you have to watch another thing in when you're in middle school about puberty or something like that.
Yeah,
or like
and that's
boyfriends
the
and
perfect time.
girlfriends.
Generally, yeah.
And like
You were like 11, 12, 7th grade, perfect time.
I don't get this whole like, oh, like this kindergartner Sally likes to play with Transformers, so she's a boy now, and like pretty much just like,
is that how school is? Because I haven't been actually in a classroom and seeing how kids are being taught.
It is, and I know a few reasons, a few ways I know this, just from like, I guess just general like social media and stuff like that, but also my friend works in schools now, Glenn, and he's there every fucking day, elementary school, and he's like, yeah, dude, it's kind of, and nonetheless Colorado, a very progressive state. So he's like, yeah, it's kind of different, like they're bringing up heavier subject matters. But one thing I didn't touch on that I wanted to is the given hormone replacement therapies to children that are under 18, which has been done and is fucking terrible. Because when I was finding out my sexuality, I used to play with my sister's toys all the time. I just wouldn't tell anybody. I'd be like, oh, want to play with them? Great. And if someone came up to me and was like, oh, you like playing with it? Oh, do you want to be a girl? Like, you totally could have been like, you could have fucked with me and I would have been like, yeah, I wanted to do that. Because I probably might have even said yes at that age. And you just, man, they can't decide that shit. It's so fucked up. And it needs to be 18 plus minimum before you can even consider starting some kind of hormone replacement therapy, because once you get that ball rolling, man, you can't undo that shit. Like it's permanent. And
I've heard a lot of regrets of people that go through that. Like,
don't
get me wrong, there are people that do it and they're happy the rest of their life, no problem. But there are a lot of people, like, they do it and 10 years later they're like, I fucked up.
I saw a post of a girl
regret it. It seems,
who
I don't know,
did reassignment to become a man, and she's like, my voice is this low, I don't have any boobs or anything, like my voice is, it's just like my voice. She sounded like deep. It's like, it will never be fixed. And because these doctors as a kid fucking kind of in some sense like mutilated them, like those doctors should be faced some kind of criminal charge. But again, me saying that, very hot take, man. Like, people will fucking get on your back for saying that, but it's the damn truth.
That is a hot take.
It is.
But I mean,
it has to be said.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm glad you're the one saying it.
People just get mad when it's something relevant about them.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, if we're talking about like doctors like mutilating or like whatever have you, like, I mean, fucking, I'll bring up that, fucking, the whole circumcision thing. Like, those are babies. They had no say in that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say, I'm glad I got circumcised.
Same here.
Shout out to my doctor real quick.
Shout out to my parents for getting that done.
Yeah, that's good. That is a good point, Tyler. Like,
but a lot of people would argue that, like, or a lot of people that say that have had that done.
Oh yeah.
Like it's kind of surprising to me, actually. Like, a lot of them are like, I'm not okay with that. Like,
oh yeah, like
I
Taylor.
Had the choice.
Yeah, like Taylor on.
I know people like
this
that.
comes up on PKA every once in a while, but Taylor, they always have this conversation about should kids get circumcised, and Taylor's always against Kyle and Woody. He's like, no, like, you're mutilating a child. Like, Taylor's circumcised, so he says.
A lot of people are,
and
on
he's
that
just like,
now,
no,
dude.
you should have the choice when you're 18 to get it done or not. He's like, who cares whether it looks nice or not? He's like. And that's like his stance on it.
All I'm thinking about is when Carl from Shameless gets his foreskin cut off and just the surgery, and then he's like trying not to get a boner a little time. Gross, dude. Ugh, I couldn't imagine that, dude. Ick. And then she still won't suck him afterwards. What a bitch, dude. He just gets fucked. What a bitch.
What a bitch.
What do you mean you won't? It hurt.
Yeah. It hurt. The doctor, he's like, come put it back on. He's like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Give me mine. There's that meme where like me showing up to the doctor's house at 3 a.m. Where is it? Give me it back.
Yeah.
Where is it? The Rock.
No. Batman versus Superman. Yeah. Fucking nightmare scene.
That's actually the Justice League nightmare scene. Still good.
It's in the Justice League?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is. The nightmare scene? Yeah, because they had the extended cut and the Snyder cut.
There's two
I think
nightmare
there's nightmare
scenes.
scenes
There's
in-
nightmare scenes.
Oh,
in
you're
both.
right. There is.
But
You're
the
right.
one where
Oh.
he goes, no, that's Batman versus Superman, because he
Yeah.
wakes up in the Flash,
No,
like comes from the future. and
They
he's like,
added
"You were
that
right
to
about
the
him."
new Justice League, the Snyder cut. That's in that now.
Oh, it's in it now too.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah. So, but I know it is in both. You're right.
I never finished Snyder Cut. I wanted to.
It's still on
But
HBO Max.
It's all right. I can't even remember what happens at the end, but very good, dude. That
Better than the
I want to
original.
see more Batman, Ben Affleck, dude, because that was brutal.
Batfleck.
Batman,
I'm
like
telling you, man.
the first interaction you have with him, like he's burning bat insignias through their chest and shit,
Yeah,
dude.
dude,
That's
he's
I've been
brutal.
thinking
hardcore.
about it recently.
Yeah.
Because
He's
it-
kind of grown on me too. Like
Dude.
now that like he's gone technically, like
Yeah.
as of now, he said like he is done.
Yeah.
Like not thinking about like him not being Batman anymore. I kind of like
Dude.
Or like I think it was with Henry Cavill saying that he's coming
Yeah.
back to Superman. I was like, damn.
Dude,
I
he,
wish I got at least
dude,
one more with that.
Yeah.
dude, I was
Right,
gonna
and they
say
might.
this. They might. And
That's true.
here's what I will say. Like,
Money talks.
Ben Affleck was going through, I think, a divorce and like had severe alcoholism, like during
yeah.
he was playing
Who
Batman.
knows? Yeah.
And
I heard
like,
that.
Oh yeah.
and like he had a lot of problems on set, I heard, but like he got the job done. But like I will say this, like I would love to see. I think we've talked about this, a nightmare scene movie, but like Batfleck like led. Like he's getting like the remnants of heroes and villains together to like get Darkseid off Earth, you know, like
Be so
do
awesome,
him in.
dude.
That'd be
What if it
such
was
a
like
sick
Logan?
movie.
where
I
it
would
was,
even
like,
be
a
okay with
dystopian future.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'd be even be okay with Jared Leto as the Joker, as they showed him at the end
Oh,
of
yeah, I don't
Justice
care.
League, like as helping Batman. Like I think that'd be fucking
I would,
sick.
dude.
Um,
That'd be spicy.
But he,
As much as I hate his Leto Joker,
Yeah.
that scene in particular,
He
like
was-
it was good.
dude,
way better
like-
than he was in the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give
dude,
him
that
that,
acting.
But
He's like, why would you send a boy wonder to do a man's job? That was brutal. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, he fucked Robin
Oh,
shit.
Yeah,
man.
but the thing is like you also people don't understand this about that DC universe of the Batfleck movies because they haven't read the comics or have a lot of knowledge on it. But it's like he was playing the Batman after Robin was like brutally murdered in front of him by the Joker,
Mhm.
and like if you've read
Yeah.
the comics, you know that's like for a
That's
period
the
in
family.
time. Yeah, Batman becomes ruthless. He did brand fucking criminals. He would fucking pretty much paralyze you. Like
yeah,
he
weren't
didn't
you
care.
hitting those animated DC movies pretty hard for a
Oh,
while?
I watched like
remember
all
you
of them.
liked
I've
them.
seen like
Yeah.
all of them. The best
Mask of
ones,
the Phantasm.
best ones in my opinion, The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2, the one where Batman's old. He's like 55 years old.
Is that with
those
Damian
ones,
Wayne?
Those ones are sick.
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
ones
shit.
are sick.
Okay. Are those
Um,
on HBO?
yeah, both of them, Part
Yeah.
1 and 2. I think it's
No,
the
all
Dark
those are on there.
Yeah, I
They've
think
like
it's
all the animated Batman
yeah,
films, dude.
it's all of them. I
Swear to
watched
God.
all of them, and I will say this: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. They're both a little over an hour long. I think you can watch them together. It's like a 2.5 hour long movie. Super good. And
Is
like
that based off
the
comic,
Red
or is that
Russian
just its own
Batman?
thing?
comic.
It
It's like
is.
Batman old. Like
Mhm.
you know, like he's old
Pretty old.
now, and this is like
I
his
just
kinda
didn't know
last
if it
hurrah.
was based off written material or if it was.
I think it's
just
comic
its own
based, yeah.
Thing. That's cool.
Oh, it's comic. Oh yeah, that's based on the Frank Miller comic.
Okay, gotcha.
okay.
Mhm.
But no,
Shout out Frank Miller real quick.
shout out Frank Miller really quick. Come on the podcast, thanks.
Yeah.
Coming on. All right. Who wrote Dream Car here? Dream Car fixes in the topics here.
That was me. That was me.
It's a good one.
Oh.
I just thought like as far as like I feel like for me at least there's a difference between like my dream car and then like what like my dream car to work on
Build.
would be.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
building, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so if you could, okay, let's just do this in two parts. If you could snap your finger and have the car you want right now, you want a daily drive, not work on necessarily as a project, but daily drive. What would you want?
Oh, daily drive.
Daily
But
joke.
like okay, let's say I have perfect
Uh,
driving conditions all the time.
yeah. Let's just say
everything's
that. Let's
perfect.
say that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Nissan GTR all
That's
day.
a good choice. So
That's what I would
Skyline.
want.
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I'd want them to rebuild me the functional Christopher Nolan Batman tumbler with the Bat Cycle. If it doesn't come out and shoot me out, then I can't like drive away. I don't want it. Not interested.
That's a good choice. That's a
but
cool
more-
vehicle.
Yeah.
More realistic, like
The noises
fuck,
about
man.
it are cooler than the whole
Yeah.
thing. The noises it makes
Yeah.
when it fucking moves.
Yeah. Dude, more realistic.
Such
I don't
terrible
know
gas mileage. Those big
I don't know
ass
shit
tires.
about cars, but like I don't know, like something just with good like heated seats, you know, good mileage. gas.
Jackson's
Nice.
Jackson's a simple man.
Some of that gets me from point A to point B. I'm
Well,
not
Jack,
living in that car.
Jack,
Any
we've never
vehicle
really
made post 2010.
Yeah, Jack. Now we never really like you and I like you know me. I was into that period where I'm still pretty much into cars, but like I'm not as into cars as I was. Like, we've never really talked about it much. But like, what do you like? Sedans? Do you like trucks? Like SUVs? Like ideally, like give me like a truck SUV. What would you want to have? Sedan, helicopter.
Okay.
I don't. Fucking...
It's hard for me because as a person,
haven't driven a whole lot?
I don't have any fucking money. Yeah, I don't know bigger cars. I do like my old grandma car. I got a '99 Buick Century. Gets me to point A to point B, no problem. But I don't know, something a little higher up for sure. I'd like, you know. But no trucks. No trucks. Good on trucks.
Maybe like something like a Ford Escape, like Dexter's Ford Escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tight. Yeah.
That gray Ford Escape.
Dexter Escape.
The
Yeah.
06.
Like 06.
Is
it
it
06?
It's an 06.
I was gonna say 07.
All the tinted windows, the gray one.
Yeah.
That's a clean looking Ford Escape.
That was a better.
generation.
That was I like that Escape better than what they are now.
Oh,
Doesn't he roll that one?
Yeah, I think he rolled. Yeah, he rolls
yeah.
that
Oh
one.
yeah, he sends it.
Yeah. And all the
he still falls asleep at the wheel, right?
he thinks
Yeah,
all
he
the
thinks
body
he had the
parts,
body.
but it was he
Yeah.
put it in the boxing fucking
Bag,
thing
yeah.
in the boxing.
That
bag.
That's right.
That was
He
sick.
left it at the
He was
scene.
so tired he couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Classic.
Classic. That's after
Good
he had
show.
Harrison. He was getting used to like being a serial killer and raising a kid.
Yeah.
Great show. So Jack, anything? Throw something down. Come on.
I don't know any car names.
What about
that's the
like
thing.
a make though?
He might not
like,
even think about it.
Oh,
at
yeah,
all. Who
like
knows?
Mazda. There are people that just literally don't care. Like Mazda.
Yeah, I really
like,
don't.
They don't even think
Yeah.
about it. Just opinion.
I
No
guess
imports. There you go.
You like American made?
I don't know. GM only. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm fine with
You
whatever.
a Chevy man?
Give me some.
Have you ever seen a car that like you like thought like, damn, like I like the look of that car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember the name of that car because I like the
It's a
look
good way
of
to
that
go
car.
about it. Yeah.
Probably like just like fucking.
It's okay if it's a Kia Soul.
I don't know what is. I don't even know what that is.
It's not okay if it's a Kia Soul.
You know what? I'm just gonna tell you this: if you say Kia Soul, you're off the cast. I'm just kidding.
You know, I kind of liked. I did see one car I liked. Some lady, she put chia pedal over her car and then it just grew. I think I like to do that. I like that car.
Like
I don't
that.
know what brand that was.
Alright.
But that was pretty gnarly.
Jack,
She took my idea.
Jack, you know you can get a turboed Kia Soul now. It's like,
Okay,
No.
I'm sold.
damn. No.
Damn.
Let's see. My car that I'd like to daily drive if I could have it right now. Just because probably recency bias, but also I can't really think of anything in particular. Okay, I'm torn between two things. I'd like a souped up Subaru Baja, like the turboed one that had like the SDI motor, like a Subaru Baja. I like those. They're kind of ugly. They're like a Japanese modern El Camino. I think they're cool. And then other than that, Honda Civic Type R.
Ooh,
I do like Honda
the
Civics.
Civic
They
one
do
would
look
be
sick.
cool.
The Type
Yeah.
Type R. I don't even care. Stock Type R.
Highly customizable, dude. That's why they do it.
Yep.
But
Now, okay, that goes to the next question because it's kind of a two-parter.
what would you like to dream?
Yeah,
or
project,
build? Dream
yeah,
build?
project, like dream project car. Like you would, like not say you're tearing the motor out, but maybe fixing up, like maybe putting some new parts on the motor. You know, maybe you bring the motor and get it tuned up, but like a project.
Gotta fix a fender.
Yeah.
It's rusty.
Yeah. What car would that be for any of you? Either of you?
I'd have to think about it if you got one, Paul.
Same. It would probably be one of the square body, late 80s, early 90s. I think they did them. The square body Chevy S10s. And by fix up, I mean I would like to find one, like, you know, small truck. I would like to find one where like the shell's already clean with maybe a blown motor, and I'd like to put a Silverado V8 Vortec in it because they just drop. They just drop in the motors from a Silverado.
Oh, really?
Right in. Because it's just another Chevy, just smaller engine bay. Don't get me wrong. There's some stuff you have to remove. There's some stuff you have to kind of make fit.
Chassis is just smaller. The engine base.
Yeah. You just drop a
Weird.
V8 Vortec and you take out
That's
the
convenient,
four-wheel
though.
drive train, I'm pretty sure. Maybe you can keep it in. But you just drop that out and you just got a rear-wheel drive fucking V8, tiny truck that's half the weight of Silverado, and you just fly. Or
Dude,
you could
that's
just
nice in the south.
or
That'd
you
be
could
useless
just-
here in our winter.
Yeah, or you could just the easy way, which would be just like getting a 350 Chevy carburetor motor from like a junkyard and dropping that, like a crate motor, you know, old crate
Okay,
motor.
sure.
I think that would be a really cool project because it's easy. because like that's like a well documented, been done. For me, I'm not the guy.
Well,
Don't get me wrong, I like to be unique, but when it comes to car stuff and being unique, you gotta fucking know what you're doing.
but think about the dream though. Let's say you got all the equipment that you need,
All the tools I would need
to make it nice. Not like it's not going to be easy, obviously. But
Okay,
you got
easy
the
enough.
tools you need.
Easy enough then. 1991 Dodge Spirit RT, like I had before I sold it. Like if I didn't have to sell it, that
Really?
red one, dude.
That was
Yeah.
pretty sick.
If that thing had a fresh paint job, dude, all because the clear coat was coming off, that thing had the turbo rebuilt, and I put like a fucking kit on it. Oh, it already had the aftermarket intercooler for the turbo and everything. Like it was ready to go.
Yeah.
Just I moved. I didn't have anywhere to store it. And don't get me wrong, that would be my dream to repair. But in all reality, fixing one of those up, sourcing the parts, fucking nightmare. Knowing somebody that knows how
Sure.
to work on that fucking rare Turbo 3 motor that they only
Sure.
made so many of, fucking nightmare. You're paying out the ass. But again, dream, totally, that would be it.
Sure.
Fastest front wheel drive in America at the time, like for a sedan.
Really?
They literally just took their K car Spirit and like, let's put a stage 4 street clutch in it and throw a turbo on the motor. And actually, like, let's make it a 16 valve motor instead. And yeah, let's try that out. Literally nothing else changed. Body was the same. They slapped a different color on it. Maybe made the interior a little cooler, put some red accents or whatever. And then it's just like they just threw a turbo on a grandma car and a fucking nice clutch, and it was sick. It was fucking dope.
Oh yeah.
I used to, like, before I sold it to the dude, I did like 2 front wheel drive burnouts in it in front of like right in front of my house, and my neighbor was like, "Fucking cut it off!" I'm like, "It's so cool! I'm selling it tomorrow! Come on!"
Yeah.
It's fucking
That's
being
funny.
a dick.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
Awesome
I don't even
car.
know what I would want. I would want. The thing is, like, obviously, for me, I'm not like super into cars. Like, I know enough to where like I know a muscle car between a truck, obviously, but like when we're talking classic muscle cars, like I couldn't tell you this is 68, fastback.
yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that much, but like classic, just muscle, like 80s Camaro, I would love to work on something like that. Or Shelby GT, like a 60s Shelby GT. That would be sick.
excellent choice.
Hmm
100%, totally agree.
But that's just because those are still things that like people keep in condition. So it's something like I can envision, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's John Wick style, like John Wick's car. Oh,
What
I love
was
that
that?
car.
Was that a GTO, like a Pontiac GTO? Because those are
well,
cool. Or was
okay,
it
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 depends
wasn't
on what we're
American?
talking. If we're talking his original car, like that gets stolen, he had a
Yeah, what was that?
Mustang. That was a
It was a Boss. Yeah,
It-
Ford Mustang Boss 429, 1969 is what that car was.
oh yeah, okay.
The Boss.
But no, yeah, that shit gets totaled.
Oh,
He gets
yeah.
it back. But then yeah, I think in the second movie, I think it's a GTO. I think you're right. I think he has a GTO in the second one. Another badass car though. Christ.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, GTO or Pontiac Barracuda. I mean, I added that to my list of dream project cars.
What about the
I know
Cutlass?
nothing about them.
Talking about
Classic.
Nick
I-
Cutlass.
Yeah,
Nick's
yeah. Oh, that's
Cutlass.
sick. One of my favorite lines from any movie, I think, was in Rush Hour 3 when at the beginning Chris Tucker's the traffic cop and that lady like T-bones the dude. He's like, "Man, you just dented a blue Cutlass Supreme." Like I always just thought that line was so funny. He's like, "You just
Yeah.
dented the man's blue Cutlass Supreme," and he's like in favor of the dude that I think pretty sure caused the accident just because of the car. It was great. But anyways, boys, we're well over an hour here. Is there any other topics you guys wanted to lay on the line before we wrapped up Gutterball 21 here?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool.
That went by pretty good, actually.
It will. So I'll wrap up the outro here. Thank you everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Things to look forward
up.
to, around coming up around 2023. Hoping to stand up the website around then, maybe get some merch out for you guys. We do still, I've been dropping the ball on maybe getting audio only in other areas other than Apple Podcasts. Just with Spotify, you need to have like an RSS feed and all this other crap in order to
Costs
set
money,
it up.
man.
Yeah, it
Costs
costs
money to
money.
use.
So we might have the merch before that to use that to kickstart getting it audio only out in more places. But other than that, as you know, we've been talking about, there's going to be skits and stuff. Just give us time. All this stuff is, an investment, like a side hobby for us, side
Jackson's
business.
gonna start making some VHS tapes
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got
Oh,
that
damn.
camera, dude.
Damn, I don't not
I looked into
that
that.
this is actually gonna
cassette,
happen,
dude, it's
but
not
an
even VHS.
idea, you know, like bum fights or like Faces of
With
Death,
that,
how like back in the day before streaming, it was VHS tapes. You had to find
dude,
mixtapes and shit.
be tight.
Can we find out a way to make like VHS tapes that are limited by number and sell those?
Yeah. No,
Dude,
you can just get the
that'd be
machine.
so
Gutterball on
sick.
VHS.
We won't say what the content is on them, but let's make
Yeah.
10 VHS tapes. So not
That's a
only
good
does somebody
idea.
have
Mystery
to buy
tapes.
Yeah.
it, they have to get a VHS
Add
player
that to the merch
to play
idea
it.
list. VHS tapes, like
That is a
custom
pretty
Gutterball
cool.
ones.
VHS
We should just mix in.
cassette tapes are they've been kind of making a comeback. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They're
That's
pretty
one
tight.
less
What if
thing
we did
I-
it on mini
I
the
can't start
GameCube
collecting,
mini
though.
discs? What if you could only read it on a GameCube and watch it on a
Mini-
GameCube?
dude.
It'd be so funny.
Oh, that's funny. Actually,
Game Boy
speaking
cartridge.
of Half Evil did that. Remember that brand that I got that T-shirt from? That was like the soakable
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
They did a thing where they released hard drives with like exclusive music from bands like Fever 3-3,
Oh, that's
just
cool.
a bunch of other bands, and they
That's
only
cool.
had, cause it was like fucking USBs. It's pretty
Ex-
sick.
I'm gonna make it a topic for an episode. I won't get into it now because I know we're at the end of it. But like speaking of like music like that, what about that whole Wu-Tang album that the government has?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
You
of
guys
Martin
know about
Shkreli.
that?
Martin.
Shkreli,
Yeah.
They also have the Nirvana album too. I think
Mhm.
the Unheard of.
I didn't know anything about that,
So
but
he has like Martin Shkreli, like when they seized all his assets and he went to jail and like basically he bankrupted him for the most part.
yeah.
He had like a Wu-Tang Clan album, he had a Nirvana album, and I think there was one more, but I remember because I used to follow him on Facebook, and before he went to prison, like literally leading up to him going to jail, he would live stream on Facebook, and he would always threaten like he would take scissors to the discs
Mhm.
and like hold it there like he's gonna fucking
Yeah.
cut him. Cause like
Yeah,
that's
he
like
he
it.
played it, and that's why one of the Wu-Tang
Yeah.
got cut, because one of the things that he like had to sign by in it was you cannot play it, and he did, and that's
Yep.
why they seized that one.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, we to randomly talk about Martin Shkreli. Fuck you, Martin Shkreli. Show's over. Suck my dick.
Anyways, we're wrapping up the show. Gutterball21, everybody. You know where to find us. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop it down in the comments section,
Let
baby.
us know.
All right, Gutterball21. Have a great weekend.
Signing off.